chance to hear it, so let her tell it. People on the streets say Sabrina speaks. Tune into the show, she will let you know. Tell all your friends and family. Real talk is no joke. You get the news straight up from grassroots and concerns. You hear some people gone. So tell all your friends to tune in to
Good evening, Cayman. I'm Sabrina Turner, and welcome to Sabrina Speaks, your daily dose of clarity, truth, and community insights. Every weekday from 5 to 6:30 p.m., we're tackling the issues that affect you, from national headlines to grassroots concerns. Whether you're in traffic or winding down your day, this is your chance to hear it straight and speak your truth. So buckle up, Cayman. We're not holding back.
This is the show. We gotta let you know. Now we got to go.
And now here's Sabrina.
Well. Hello. How are you? I just sent out those links. Welcome, one and all. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night. Yes, to all of you, and welcome to Sabrina Speaks. Yes, we are here ready for another, hopefully, inspiring, inspirational, even kick back a little bit and have some fun laughing at ourselves. That's how we do it here. But welcome to another episode of Sabrina Speaks. Voices of the Islands, Conversations for the World, and the podcast where voices rise, stories unfold. And yes, each day I'm seeing it, inspiration is taking center stage. I am Sabrina, and it's good to be back with you here on this fabulous Thursday, broadcasting live from the beautiful, beautiful Cayman Islands, a place that I know, like so many of you, are honored to call home. And so many are just like envious of us, despite all the bloom and dust. But yeah, we got some good updates from our forecasters there, letting us know what's going to be happening with that. But yeah, I'm happy. I'm proud to call the Cayman Islands my home, just like so many of you. And yes, tonight, we got this episode title, The Cayman That We're Becoming. Yes, because let's be real, Cayman is changing, not just on the surface, but deep down in places where we feel it every day. In our neighborhoods, our cultures, I felt it today, felt it in my pocket today. Yes, our families, and even our sense of identity. And some of these exchanges, in many cases, from experiences and conversations, yes, excite us. Some are even worrying to us, and some confuse us. But despite all of that, it's still glimpse of inspiration there as well. So in this episode, we're going to explore what a life in Cayman really feels like right now. The good, the challenging, the hopeful, the honest, no spin, not at all, just real voices, real stories, because I expect you to join in with your comments as well, and calls, or even your WhatsApp. Real community right here on the Sabrina Speaks platform. So if you're just tuning in, settle in. Yes, if you're listening from work, home, or stuck in traffic, I've got you. This is your space. We love having all of you here with us because this is also our conversation. But before going into all of that, you know how we do it here. The views expressed by callers, guests, and online commenters are their own and not those of Bridge Media Limited, its affiliates, the Sabrina Speaks Show, or the host. Now, this program is for general information only and not a substitute for legal, medical, financial, or professional advice. All participants are, however, reminded to speak responsibly and respectfully. Any content that is defamatory, discriminatory, unlawful, or harmful is strictly prohibited and will not be endorsed or tolerated. Now, by continuing, streaming, listening, however it is you're getting us live today, your participation implies acceptance of this disclaimer. To join in live or even WhatsApp me, the number is 345 936-8255 to join in on the conversation. And like I said, we're more than happy to take your WhatsApp there as well. So continue. I see the new followers and subscribers. Yes, and I mean it every day, every morning. I'm seeing those notices. Make sure you continue to like, follow, and share the page with your friends for two reasons. So you're always notified. And the second one, you never miss an episode of Sabrina Speaks as we continue to expand, build, grow one episode at a time, which is proving every day it's definitely catching your attention. And I am happy that I'm meeting your satisfaction. So yes, I see you all taking your time coming in here on this fabulous Thursday. You know, we got to start with our weather. Little different than all the other ones. Yeah, we do it a little different. We're an island. Why not? And that's all made possible. Compliments of our friends there at the Cayman Islands National Weather Service. Now let's see what's the forecast in for us for tonight and into tomorrow. The forecast is calling for Saharan dust along the periphery of a high-pressure system over the Western Caribbean, supporting hazy skies and low chance of showers tonight, is expected to drift west of the Cayman Islands by tomorrow morning. A dust alert remains in effect and will be discontinued tomorrow. Gusty winds, however, along with moderate and to rough seas, are expected through tomorrow afternoon, and because of that, a small craft advisory will remain in effect and will be discontinued tomorrow evening. In addition, warm and humid conditions will persist, and radar imagery shows no showers in the Cayman area. For tonight, the forecast is calling for partly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of showers. A dust alert will remain in effect for tonight, and temperatures will fall near to low to mid 80s, and winds will be east to northeast 10 to 50 knots with higher gusts. Seas will be moderate to rough with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet. Because of that, a small craft advisory will remain in effect. For tomorrow, the forecast is calling for partly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of showers. Temperatures will rise near the mid to low 90s with a heat index of 109 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds, however, will be east to northeast 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be moderate to rough with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet, becoming 3 to 5 feet in the evening. As a result of that, a small craft advisory will continue to be in effect. There will be a low tide just a minute ago, yes, at 5:01 this evening, and a high at 11:30 tonight. Tomorrow, a low tide will be at 5:59 a.m. and another low tide at 11:58 a.m. in the morning. The sun will set this evening at 7:05 and sun will rise tomorrow morning at 5:57 a.m. The outlook is calling for a continued low chance of showers into the weekend due to drier and more stable atmosphere as the high pressure system continues to dominate our weather patterns here. There you have it. We want to thank our friends there at the Cayman Islands National Weather Service for keeping us up to date. And yes, we will make sure you are aware as well. That's how we do it right here on the Sabrina Speaks show for one and all. Yeah. Now let's take a look at what news is making our headlines today. Starting with local news, we'll go into regional headlines and take it for the business markets. And we got a little bit to tell you. So line up and we prepare for this weekend's FIFA kickoff. OMG, the excitement is building, I'm quite sure. Some are just disappointed. Some is like, I got the question asked today. Who are you rooting for? My team never loses. That's the good part. Always play it safe. Yep. Cape Verde is gone, and so is Norway, and the UK is out. So guess what? My team never loses at this stage of the game, but I just love it. I'm looking forward for the weekend, but we'll save a little bit more of that commentary when we get to the news segment. Let's take a look at what's making local news headlines right here on the Sabrina Speaks for this evening. The Cayman Islands government has released a summary of its cabinet meeting that was held on July 8th. At that session, Cabinet approved an amendment for the agriculture land use license policy for the High Rock Agro Park pilot program and granted 2 temporary reentry permits under Section 90 of the Customs and Border Control Act. Now, members also noted the Cayman Forward Initiative's post-summary report and agreed to implement its recommendations. The two additional re-entry permit requests were denied. We see where the Center for Disease Control, CDC, is investigating more than 7,000 cases of this is a tongue twister, cyclosporiasis across the United States by Cayman health officials, but Cayman health officials says that the local risk remains low. The Ministry of Health confirms one travel-associated case has been identified in the Cayman Islands with no evidence of community transmission. Now, the cyclosporia parasite causes cyclosporiasis, typically linked to contaminated food or water. Residents, however, are encouraged to follow routine food safety practices, wash fresh produce, and seek medical care if persistent gastrointestinal symptoms develop. In other local news making headlines here this evening, the Mosquito Research and Control Unit is advising residents to expect another noticeable rise in mosquito activity across Grand Cayman earlier next week. No official says the increase is driven by seasonal tidal flooding and recent rainfall, which have created widespread standing water sites. MRCU teams are already treating numerous breeding areas and plan expanded aerial and ground operations as conditions allow. Now, while black marsh mosquitoes do not pose a public health risk to people, biting will be more frequent during this emergence, and pet owners should ensure animals remain protected against heartworm. The Cayman Islands government is reminding the public that the official funeral for national hero, the late Honorable Francine E. Jackson, will take place tomorrow, Friday, July 17th at the Wesleyan Holiness Church in West Bay, beginning at 4 p.m. Residents are invited to follow the service and honor Ms. Jackson's legacy and decades of community service. The proceedings will be live streamed on CIG YouTube channel, on CIG TV cable, on Logic channel 23, C3 channel 3, and Flow channel 106. As we wrap up the local segment here, the public is urged to help because we've had an incident last night where a vehicle was broken into on Eden Road in Georgetown sometime between 10 p.m. last night and 8 a.m. this morning. Now, stolen items included a JBL party box speaker and Oakley sunglasses valued at about 700 Cayman dollars. The owner is reviewing security footage, but says they would prefer the items be returned rather than pursue charges. Now, if everything is left at the front door, no police report will be filed. Now, anyone with information or who sees these items being offered for sale is asked to contact Cayman Mall Road or the owner directly. Let's take and turn our focus over to what news is making regional headlines here this evening on Sabrina Speaks, and we're starting with Jamaica. Out of Jamaica, the Gleaner is reporting that the island welcomed the inaugural Liat air flight from Guadeloupe to Montego Bay on Tuesday. Now, the aircraft arrived at Stansted International Airport with 33 passengers, marking the launch of a twice-weekly, year-round service operating on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Now, officials says that the new route is a significant step towards strengthening connections between Caribbean islands, their economies, and their people. As we continue to travel regionally, yes, if you think it's bad in the Cayman Islands, then listen to this. The government of Anguilla has announced new maximum gasoline prices effective July 15th this year, as part of its ongoing efforts to ease pressure on consumers. Now, the updated cap sets fuel at $17.84 per gallon at Delta, $17.68 at Sol, and $15.49 at Anguilla Gases. Now, official says that the intervention is meant to cushion global price volatility while keeping fuel costs transparent. Now, these are maximum allowable prices, and retailers may change or charge less when market conditions permit. We still have so much to be thankful here in the Cayman Islands. Let's focus our attention now and hear what's coming out of Spain this evening as we continue our journey in the region. Because Spain has announced that citizens from 9 Caribbean community nations will no longer need a visa to enter the country. According to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Madrid, the list includes Antigua and Barbuda, Barbados, the Bahamas, Dominica, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, Trinidad and Tobago, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Notably, Jamaica, Guyana, Suriname, Belize, and Haiti were not included. Official says the move is part of a wider update affecting 60 countries worldwide. As we take a look and head afield right now, a strong earthquake rattled New Zealand's South Island earlier today, shaking communities across the regions and prompting an immediate tsunami alert. Authorities later lifted the warning after assessments showed no threat to coastal areas. Emergency teams, however, are continuing checks for damage and aftershocks, and residents are being urged to stay aware of official updates as monitoring continues. As we take it across the pond and we go over to the United Kingdom, yes, because couples, I'm talking about married couples in England and Wales may soon have far more freedom over where they marry, as the United Kingdom government proposes the biggest overhaul of wedding laws in nearly 2 centuries. Under the plan, couples could legally wed almost anywhere, from beaches and pubs to cruise ships, provided the location is approved by a registered officiant. Now, a new dignity framework would prevent gimmick ceremonies like skydiving or roller coaster weddings, while still allowing lighthearted touches. Now, the reforms aim at making weddings more affordable and modern, with final details that are expected after the consultation closes later in September. Now, for those of you who are excited about all of those things, OMG. Yeah, can you imagine having a skydiving wedding? What a mess that would be in many forms for some of us who are petrified of heights. Let's take a look at what our business markets closing are looking like for today, as we wrap up the news segment and go into what we are waiting for to hear what's happening in sports. Yeah, because I know all of you are just excited to hear what's coming out of that. Global markets closed mixed today, as investors weighed fresh economic data and ongoing geopolitical concerns in the Caribbean. The Jamaica Stock Exchange ended the session slightly lower, with modest declines across the main and junior markets. Now, regionally, activity remained steady on the Cayman Island Stock Exchange, though no formal closing summary was issued for today. On Wall Street, U.S. markets were mixed, with tech edging higher, while energy and financials saw mild pullbacks. Yes, because we're going to move it now to FIFA. FIFA 26 moves toward its climax as Spain and Argentina prepares for Sunday's World Cup final at MetLife Stadium. Now, Spain advanced after a 2-0 win over France, while Argentina booked their spot with a dramatic 2-1 comeback over England. Now, the Golden Boot race remains tight with, Cayman and Messi level on 8 goals each. France and England will meet Saturday in Miami for the third place match as global attention shifts to the final showdown. And guess what? I fell in love with Cape Verde, and I'm hearing a lot of persons saying the same thing, because just this morning, look who made a CBS morning show. Cape Verde's goalkeeper, Vozina, who became one of the outbreak stars of this year's World Cup, appeared on CBS Morning Show today, reflecting on his team's return against global football giants. Now, he said showcasing Cape Verde's talent on the world stage is the best thing that can happen. Vozina spoke about playing with passion and how sudden global attention has reshaped his life. And what comes next as a free agent? He simply said, I want to play. How humble. And more out of football news as we prepare for this weekend, because football is taking a page from the Super Bowl this weekend. For the first time ever, the World Cup final will feature a full halftime show, extending Sunday's break in New Jersey to roughly 20 to 25 minutes longer than the 15 minutes allowed under the laws of the game. Now, the expanded interval will accommodate an 11-minute performance headlined by guess who? Guess who? Madonna, Shakira, BTS, and guess who's making his appearance there? Justin Bieber. Now, FIFA says the move is historic, while, on the other hand, critics argue it pushes football further into over commercialization. Well, whether or not you're for it or not, it's coming. And yep, I'm quite sure a lot of you are actually waiting for it, no matter how it pulls into place. I know a lot of you are just busting at the seams for it. And we will all be there, front and center. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. For those of you just jumping onto the live, it is so good having you join us today. And yeah, it is a fabulous day here in the Cayman Islands. And I'm quite sure there are a number of you that have celebrated birthdays today. We want you to wish you happy birthday. For everybody who's celebrating a birthday, we're wishing you happy birthday, sending you lots of love, hugs, and even a few kisses, virtual. Virtual kisses. And for all of those who are just celebrating life or a wedding anniversary, we want to say happy anniversary, and we celebrate life with you as well here today on the Sabrina Speaks show. How we do it here, wishing you many, many more to come as well. I'm just grabbing some images here. And you know, we may celebrate life, we may celebrate anniversaries, we may celebrate milestones and birthdays, but we know that there's some amongst us that are mourning the loss of a loved one. And I just grabbed this one just before coming live. We want to share this and send condolences out and a community announcement as well in the loving memory of Yvonne George Livingston, known as Jigo. His Thanksgiving service will be held on Sunday, the 19th of July at 12:30 p.m. And that's going to be at the Savannah Seventh-day Adventist Church. And the viewing will commence at 12 p.m. with interment to follow at the Prospect Cemetery. So our thoughts and prayers going out to all of those family members who are mourning the loss of a loved one. And this, along with the funeral of our national hero, Miss Francine, which takes place tomorrow. This for Jigo will take place as we see here on Sunday. Our thoughts and prayers go out to all of the families who are mourning the loss of a loved one. And as you navigate this difficult time here. Yes, it's that time for me to give you some gentle reminders as to what's happening here in and around our island, because lots of things are happening. Let me grab these flyers here. That just makes sense, right? It just makes sense that we can have it. We can connect the dots and keep you all abreast of what's happening, from licensing your dog, that free event that's taking place. Yes, right here on when? That's taking place on Saturday. You can go and license your dog. Let me grab this one. You can go and license your dog for free at A.L. Thompson's at the main entrance. And that is a free event. Please note, you are asked and reminded not to bring your pet. There's no need to bring your pet for this event. So we want to make sure that you are aware of that. That is, let me grab it here. Sorry. When you're producing and doing all of this stuff. There we go. That is it. That's the one for licensing your dog on Saturday. I intend to go get my 2 4-legged fur buddies all licensed, because I'm here sharing all of this information with you, and charity begins at home, huh? I got 2 of mine that needs to be licensed. Why not take advantage? So I may see you guys out there on Saturday. Maybe you'll be lucky enough to see me. And if you do, tap me and say, what's happening? Say hi. Yes, and I also want to let you know that before you know it, guess what? It's time for that. And I passed this as I scrolled today, and I want to assist Prospect Primary School and any other school, send them to me. 9368255. If I see it on your Facebook pages, I will share it. But Prospect Primary School Uniform Shop has just posted their summer opening hours, and these kick off from as early as August 1st. I know a lot of you are like, Jesus, Sabrina, we just got them out of school. What are you telling us? We're planning summer vacation. Look, before you blink, August 1st will be here. It is July 16th. August 1st is the first day that this is going to be open. And it's also going to open on August 8th and August 15th. Now, all 3 days or dates that I've shared are on Saturdays. And these are Saturday mornings from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. Okay. So these are their dates. Saturday, August 1st, August 8th, and August 15th, the uniform shop will be open for the Prospect Primary School. And also, there's orientation day as well. And this is going to be happening on Tuesday, August the 25th from 9 until 11. So this is all is going to be there. It's on the Prospect site. I will probably do a reel if I didn't. Yeah, I did a reel. I did a reel on it already. So you can go onto the Sabrina Turner Community Activist Facebook page and you'll see the reel there in circulation so that you don't miss all of these things because time flies. I know you're booking, making final arrangements for your summer vacation. It's real. Time is flying by so quickly. And this is why I thought it was important for me to share that with you. Also, look here. Who loves a good smoothie? Why not? With how hot it's been, you can get a smoothie. Yes. I'm going to make those residents know I am doing this for you. Let the people know that connecting, we are saying Honorable Wayne Pannon and Miss Heather about their community and their country. And this is for the Newlands and Savannah community, in case you're in that area and you miss it. There is going to be a smoothie social that will be taking place on the 31st of July, and that's at Cafe del Sol from 4:30 until 6:30. This is your opportunity to just come out and mingle, chow down on a nice, refreshing smoothie. Why not? Go and meet your area representatives, and why not? Like, it's hot, it's perfect, and the kids enjoy. You just sit down and have that lighter moment. Why not? So there you have it for that smoothie event. Hope to see you there with the pictures, meaning pictures. I won't be there. But I'll be stalking. I'll be like that harbor shark on the social media pages because they got a pretty good thing going on there with their social media pages. I see all of my content creators in bloom definitely sharing their beauties today. Somebody is a little late. They'll be coming in like a bat out of hell, just tantalizing us with food and saying, did you see my post? Did you see my message? We know who we're talking about. But Donnie is in the house this evening. Good evening, Donnie. And Donnie is of Green Valley Nursery. Open Monday to Saturday from 7 until 4. Good evening to you, my love. Always good having you jumping on the live. And Aliano, what, are you in Jerry Springer Beach today, Aliano? Good evening to you. Yeah, are you just home chilling? Tell me what you're doing. I up in your business today. Yeah, because you've been behaving, though, I must say. Andrew is also here with us this evening. Good evening, Andrew. And he says, Sabrina, blessed Thursday to you and the Cayman Islands. It's a pleasure to have you here with us this evening as well. And as always, even for those of you who don't comment, hey, thank you. Thank you for logging on. And thank you for just joining us. Some of you come at different intervals or jump on the live different intervals while you outside, like some either running about in Mango Bush, or you're outside watering your orchids, or you're sitting down with a big pudding pan of mangoes eating, or maybe some of you may be walking as well and taking beautiful sunsets or views of our coastal beauty here in the Cayman Islands. Whatever you so choose, the mere fact that you have taken a moment of your time to log on to this live, I want to let you know that I appreciate you very, very much. And we got those who are in the UK as well, because it is 11:30 over there. Some of us would be sleeping, but you got that crew over there, Miss Lucille, Damien, and so many more. Live Happy, I think, is also in the UK. We want to thank them for staying up with us. We got a message late last night, and I messaged that individual back that they were actually still up watching And I didn't see the message until afterwards because they privately messaged me on Facebook. But I want to let them know that I saw it and I responded back. Oh, yes, I did. Damian Henry is here with us. What is you sending me now, my friend? What you sending me today? I'm going to pop it up in a second. You got to tell me what that is, though, Connie Bonnie. Bunanunas. Damian Henry is here. He's saying good evening all. Now, Damian Henry, for all of you first-time people, he's the man that shares with us words of inspiration, uplifts us with motivational stuff, but the man has been coming up with some lyrics. I could check him for any special occasion because the man got the lyrics. He got it. He got it all figured out. And he is loyal, just like my content creators in Bloom. He's loyal. He is here and he shares that with us and we appreciate it. So let's see what he has in store for us this evening. He says, good evening all. Happiness is a choice and by a product of how we perceive the world. While life presents challenges and uncertainties, our perspective shapes how we experience them. By focusing on growth, gratitude, and the opportunities within each situation, we create space for greater contentment and fulfillment. Ultimately, happiness is not something we find, it is just something we cultivate through the way we choose to see and respond to life. You see what I tell you? Yeah, that's Damian. That's Damian, the man with the lyrics. If he wrote a novel, he would take Daniel Steele and just put him out of business. Thank you, Damian, so much. It's always good to have you and look forward to that. Oh, that's what you're doing, you brute. Okay. Connie's getting us all up into her business. She's out there. Mind you, she's busy. I gotta share with you what she's doing today, she say, in a second. But I want to make sure I don't miss any of these comments as we share these images. And I tell you, my content creators in Bloom are something else. Miss Barbara G, how you doing? Good to have you jumping on. Miss Barbara is saying, great idea, as it has always been described as taking the plunge. Oh, okay. Yes. That's quite right. You were quite right, Miss Barbara. Miss Joy, good evening to you, my love. How are you? Thank you for jumping on and commenting. Damian Charles, got any GPS collars for sale? I don't know if they may have. I don't know. That is for the dogs. I don't know, to be honest. But Animal House, check them if anything. It'll be interesting. Or A.L. Thompson's has a pet section. Maybe while you're there licensing your dog for free, you just scroll on in and see if they have it outside that. Unsolicited PR for Animal House. Just go over across from Tortuga there, North Sound Road, and check them, Damien, to see if they may have them. Connie Bonnie, I don't even know where I put Coco's documents. Well, start digging now, my love. Start digging. Aliano is killing himself laughing because he know exactly you. You think I don't know you? I know you. I know you like a book. Oh my God. Now that we got Connie there, you see what I tell you? Connie shared with us this evening, my content creator in Bloom. She shared with me this beautiful foliage that she has here. This is one, and this is another one. This makes a nice hedging, just as she has it here under the base of this tree. And like if you want to line a nice walkway up, yes, this is beautiful. And then she heard me taking a jab at her and she's saying, yeah, she's listening. She is actually busy making garden baskets. Well, I hope they're not hanging, because if you water them and something is in it and you can't see it, you see, I'm petrified of those things called amphibians, frogs and snakes and that sort of stuff. But I adore you guys for having the green thumb. So this is what Connie, look at a cutlass. Oh, dear Jesus. You can need that for Alfred when he actually give us too much trouble. We're going to do that for Alfred. I see you there, Connie. She's just busy out in her garden. But please be careful. It is humid. Make sure you keep yourself hydrated. And thank you for sharing with us exactly how you're entertaining yourself. And just, that must be so calming. Thank you, nevertheless. And of course, like I said, Green Valley Nursery, Dawn over there hides is sharing with us these beauties of her desert rose this evening, and definitely in bloom. You know, I fast. You may be looking at the flowers, but I look behind and I see how she has her place landscape. I fast. I fast, plan on a fast too. Well, you see all like how she has those ideas with all of those nice river rocks or white rocks. She can help you design your space. Just visit her at Green Valley Nursery, right there in Lower Valley. You cannot miss it. You cannot miss it on the main road. And you see how calming all of these beautiful flowers are. And when you go to her place, just how she has it all laid out, you just get a calm. You just get that sense of calm. Connie can attest to that because she's become a big fan. And I just love these two ladies as our content creators in Bloom. So there you have it. Green Valley Nursery out there in Lower Valley. Monday to Saturday from 7 until 4. She can help you design that special space. Live happy, NJ. Oh, yeah. Hi to you as well. I'll big you up before I saw your comment come in. And Miss Barbara G is commenting this evening. She's saying, oh, my goodness. Let me see. Miss Barbara is saying, I unfortunately lost my little angel last week. She was almost 14 years old and her organs were shutting down. Believe me, it was like losing a child. Missing as hell. And what Miss Barbara is referring to is her her four-legged pet. And I know that loss oh too well, Miss Barbara. Trust me. So I know, and you are quite right. It comes in like losing a child. But when you have to make those decisions because you're seeing they're ailing, they won't rebound, that to me is even more heart-wrenching. Toby just died in his sleep. Thank God I didn't have to make that decision. But yeah, trust me, I know exactly. So he's in pet heaven. Yeah. So I know exactly. Oh, it was a Pomeranian puppy. Oh my goodness. And boy, they have an attitude. Don't they not? Yeah, they have like a little personality. So I know the loss. We had to put one. Yeah, there was one, Toby. He went in his sleep. You had to put one down because of issues with their eyes. And it was just too excruciating with his eyes to watch him go through all of that. So for all of my pet lovers out there, I know that oh too well. And Eric, he was never one about inside dogs. And now that's an episode all in itself. That requires a Free Flow Friday. But Miss Barbara, I know exactly what you're going through. And let me tell you something, virtual hug. But at least he or she is no longer suffering. Wake Up is with us. But it too on it, quite a few on it, Wake Up, the Cayman Islands. I think you mean me in the UK. It's a couple of you guys, it's true, but you're quite right. Even you getting to figure me out. Yes, Wake Up. Wake Up stays up as well with Damien as well. Thank you for clarifying that. OMG, these YouTube names, oh gosh. Connie say, always in my garden. Yep, and you just got us up in your business. Wake Up says, taking in what ocean view? We can't walk to see the ocean anymore. Oh, let me tell you, it's rough. It is rough. And that's why, some of these, I see where Taco Bell suppliers let us now I changed CDs. This is on thing. I'm seeing where they're trying to deal with this CDC thing. And this is the second time I've seen a news channel that's linking it to Taco Bell in their produce. And they're kind of narrowing it down now. Forbes just posted something in regards to that, but that's the second major news source that is linking it to one particular chain. And here we go again, Taco Bell suppliers lettuce identified as possible outbreak source. So this is something that continues to develop even as we're live here, with that prompting us to do something locally as well and confirming that we, Cayman, had one confirmed case, even though the risk here remains low. So every now and again, something will catch my eye and I'll share it with you because that's how it is in this world. We keep you up to date here with everything that is happening with us. Thank you as well, Connie, for letting me know you're listening. And it's good to be back with you. I know some people are tuning into the show at different intervals, but just in case you're just joining us, welcome, one and all. 345-936-8255 is the number to call. You can WhatsApp, you can participate live in the discussion today. We do it a little more lighthearted here. Some days it's hard hitting. We just deliver, we just go. And there are other days that we just free flow into it. like tomorrow. We look forward to that as we enter into the weekend ahead. And I'm always excited for the weekend. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? Despite it being a special one, having friends, family over to take in the match, whatever it is you decide to do. I'm quite sure people are looking forward to the weekend. But yes, what we're going to be just discussing, and I welcome your participation as always. We call this episode today, the Cayman We're Becoming, because we have noticed that Cayman is changing, not just physically, but emotionally as well. Socially, culturally, we're seeing it. We're seeing our neighborhoods, our workplaces, even our families. Yes. And we're struggling, we're fighting to maintain and keep our identity. So some changes that we have identified excites us, and some got us concerned. And we're like, no, this is moving too fast. So if you're tuning in late, welcome. Nevertheless, as I look here at some stuff coming in, my apologies. Yes, I just got you, and I'm hoping you got me, so you continue to comment and we can participate here together, continuing to learn one episode at a time. Now, I will invite your participation as always, because me doing certain things here and I'm asking the general question, I want to see sometimes when we look at what's happening, whether or not your opinions align with what I'm seeing and commenting on based on the subjects and the discussions that we actually open here. And the reason why I said this is coupled by yesterday's episode, engaging with so many people because I was out and about today. As a matter of fact, all week this week, I've been out and about outside my norm. But it's just amazing that one thing was uniquely across all of the engagements is understanding, well, of course, the heat is usually the first topic. And based on where you're at, the prices in the grocery store. There's going to be a section that we talk about that, because I got hit by one soccer punch today. And you know it bad when the cashier looks at you and says, and you're not got nothing to eat. I'll tell you more about that. But it was interesting that is becoming more and more a reality. And the only thing I could say to myself, as I left and got on the phone and made a call, I'm like, I don't understand how people are making it with young children, especially during the summer. It is really something, but it came back round to Cayman's changing community landscape as we take it and break it down. And we're hearing more and more talking about the cost of living and all this sort of stuff, but it's just straight across the board. Because when you look back, and many times it's nostalgic, because you must admit, like everywhere else, Cayman is not the same place as it was 5, 10, 20 years ago. We've seen a change in our population. We have seen new cultures pretty much come out of nowhere. We're even seeing new industries here in our landscape. And of course, shifting identities and rising costs. So at the end of the day, when you look at all of those and you bundle it up, if you are one of those that are seeing that and you compare it, what we have seen shifting here, what does community mean to you today if you were looking back at what we could define as community 5, 10, let's say 20 years ago? It would be interesting to get your feedback on that. Do you see us being more recluse, more reserved, less where participation or neighborly love, community spirit? What are you seeing? I would love to get your comments. Feel free to comment below. And it doesn't mean just locally, from wherever you are, because the unique thing about this topic is that it's just not here. We're seeing this in commentary, in all that we're seeing, even with our brothers and sisters regionally and internationally as well. So really and truly, the question that I will throw out there, what does community mean to you today, in today's world? Now, was speaking to an older person, and very active in the community. And this was one of the things that popped back into mind when I recalled that brief communication with them or in exchange. And, that elder said something that stood out, but it was very personal and touching because I could feel the disconnect after the fact. You hear what they're saying, you process it, and all that sort of stuff. And in other words, what they were saying is that they see a community is when people who show up when you need help, and this is from a senior person who, whether or not they were born here or not, and they're just happy to show up. And then I spoke to even some younger persons, of course, during the football, and their connectivity is more through group chats while playing a game with their coworkers, a fun evening, a happy hour gathering, a boat cruise or something. And then it was very few that I spoke about their close network that is dwindling when it comes to the church. What was at the bottom of all of the conversations is when it came to neighbors. They're like, where we live, and this goes for the seniors and for the young adults, my community, what I got from both of them, are combined with renters. So it's not like it was the 5, 10, 20 years ago where it was the Bodens, it was the Millers, it was the, those traditional Macfields are there for years and they don't move. They're like, what's the sense of getting to know your neighbor nowadays when the properties around me are by renters and they're transient, they change. They don't know us and it's less connected. Even though some are very friendly, the change in colors and the tenants themselves are not the same when it was what life was like, let's say 20 years ago. Many are saying they don't know their neighbor. And it's not that they wouldn't be able to identify them, what type of car they drive, but they don't know their neighbor. And it's because it's not what we are accustomed to knowing. So this is why I throw the question out there. What does community mean to you today? Is it because we have gone so digital? Everything is cooked up on WhatsApp. We don't even have to necessarily come out unless there's a unfortunate gathering like a funeral, an emergency, a public gathering, and not even when you look at even national events. Yes, that's a greater chance for you to be seeing your neighbors and getting community building together. But really, things and times have changed and they continue to change. What is that? What is that? At the end of the day, it is beautiful when you have your seniors saying that they understand and they see a community where whether or not the person or the individuals are from here or not, if they're in need of help, that they show up. And that in itself is something that they notice is changing. But that's a beautiful point that was actually brought out because it just shows connection over nationality, over where the individual comes from. It's more embracing. It's more something that you could palate. Now, in the reality of things, when you look at the long hours that we work and just trying to fill in life, some of us has 3 communities, not just where you physically live. You got a community that's called work. You got a community that's called home. And you got that WhatsApp group community that sends messages at 2 a.m. in the morning. Now, that's a total different community altogether. So we've pretty much designed our life into 3 different groups. And this is why I know a lot of you may have caught off guard thinking I was speaking about just where you live. There are multiple communities. How have you seen that landscape change? in 5, 10, 20 years. I shared with you all here when Mr. Manderson was leaving on his final day. And I kind of reminisced on what life was like. Donnie and Anne, who comments here, were saying what life was like working in immigration back in the days. That's a work community. And it's totally different now if we share our stories with those CBC and WORC officers who are somewhat separated now, not somewhat, they are separated. If we go back and we sit down and we speak to both of those separated units with the same staff right now and share the memories and the stories with them of what the community in the workplace looked like for us during our time, they would be looking at us like, you guys are from Mars, probably. And then they'd be like, can't bother with that. Yo, I just want to get in here and out of here. It all depends on the age group as well and how you value those connections. It's the same thing when it comes to where you live. And it's the same etiquette as well when you have those family WhatsApp chats and when you have those community WhatsApp chats. These are all community gatherings. Have you seen them change? Have you seen them become more disciplined, focusing in now on the WhatsApp chats? Have you seen them become more structured? Have you seen them become more politicized? Have you seen them become a way of just hiding behind a number? How you see this change? But the root cause of all of this is connectivity. And we've seen the pros and cons, especially, of remaining connected, even when it comes to WhatsApp during a storm, a hurricane, getting messaging out as we change with times. Before Cayman of old, before all of this technology, we depended on one radio station. Now we have multiple sources. We have podcasting, we have SMS texting, that sort of stuff. But there are some communities who, I swear, they invented the speed of disseminating of information, and they did not have technology that we have today, but everybody in that community know. That, my friends, has now switched from word of mouth to a digital era. Now, mind you, you have some sectors in some communities that is a more older. That type of communication works like a charm. And guess what? There is no screenshotting of anything with that particular age group that still exists right now in many of our communities. But I tell you what, they're on WhatsApp, they're on their social media pages, and sometimes they know more than all of us that are out here. You ain't getting no breach in that. And it's amazing when you look at how that community, that togetherness, it's like you have this routine that if I don't hear from some people by a certain time during the day and this person by a certain time, you wonder. And it's the same thing with your commentaries here. If I don't see you comment, I'm wondering, what's up? I will message or reach out to you privately, or you will message me privately and say, look, I'm good. Yeah, I'm just doing my own thing. It's the same thing with communities. And what we're seeing with time, with technology and all of that sort of stuff, our communities, whether it's our neighborhoods, whether it's our work communities, whether it's our digital communities, are changing pretty much on a daily basis. But there's a human side of all of this, because let's look into the whole number side of it. Let's take a little look into the human and the whole implication of what could impact change in our communities when we look at the economic side of things. Some people are seeing things and they're becoming withdrawn. They're seeing the struggle and the realities of just trying to make ends meet, trying to keep a roof over their head, trying to keep the lights on, trying to keep food on their table. Not that you're trying to keep up with the Joneses by any means. Many are just doing everything that they can. But because of what we're seeing, changes, inflation, just life in itself, they are struggling. So there is a human side and the economic impact on our lives. And We hear numbers all of the time. We hear acronyms about the GDP, the gross domestic product. That's what that is. We hear about inflation. I used it just now. Then we talk about rent. We hear the utilities. But behind all of those topics and all of those things, all of those numbers, at the end of the day, is a person. Mhm. And we reminisce now when, in some cases, we had late bills of $100. Yeah. We actually hearing people, wishing that there were days of old where they could say, I got a $98 bill. Yeah, we're hearing that. But even when you're going to the grocery store, some people say, I spoke to a friend the other day, and it was a lighthearted moment. That was Saturday. It was a lighthearted moment. Single parent, and said, geez, so Miss Sabrina, so good to see you. So good to see you. I said, yeah. I said, a long time I haven't done this still, but OMG, I'm going crazy. They laughed. And they said, groceries feels like a luxury nowadays. Every week, it feels like a math exam. Of course, we laughed at it, but it was real. And I'm like, okay. And you could see them just trying to grapple. And then later on, couples aisles over, I saw a couple, newlywed, just living life together, still on honeymoon. You could see them just glowing. And the harsh realities of, it's so good to see you. We're trying, and I'm really looking at other places that I'm exploring, because we're coming to the harsh reality. Newlyweds, haven't started a family. We're working the math out. We want to stay here, but right now, housing appears to be impossible. Now, you wonder why I can sometimes be in the supermarket for just a few items, but it takes me almost an hour, 2 hours. This is real. This is real. And that is a semblance of all of it. I mean, no one was in a depressed state. We were just really catching up. But it was amazing to speak to the single parent, speak to the newlyweds that are just so happy at this stage of their life. But they're having these real conversations that, of course, did not happen or didn't start after they got married. These must have been things that they have been thinking about long before. They're looking at what's happening around the world. They're looking at the geopolitical tensions that's happening and what would be a better choice for us. And they still have their feet planted here at home. And, at the end of the day, when I looked at that young single parent, it's almost like you definitely need to pull out your calculator and say a prayer before you get to the registry, because it is that daunting. You're picking up this, you're picking up that. And one of the things that caught my attention just today, because I popped into one of our local grocery stores, is that, remember, once upon a time, you could go to the supermarkets, for example, and you could get like the Procter & Gamble detergent, laundry detergent. Let me see if a couple of you have noticed this, and please, if I'm wrong, please correct me. But tell me if you've noticed it, or the next time you go to the supermarket, look at it. The Procter & Gamble, which would be like your Gain, your Tide detergents, and then you would have some of the other brands that we're not necessarily, you would have two different brand types, that one was always cheaper than the other, and it was there for your preference. One thing that I noticed today, and another shopper pointed it out to me as we were engaged again, was that the Gain, the Tide, all of those example detergents, the top shelf detergents, are all carrying pretty much the same price of those that used to be lower. And it wasn't until after 2 or 3 items, like you will have, for example, for all of you who may be traveling right now, you go away. One thing that stood out with me when I traveled, my kids were younger, and we would go for like a week, 2 weeks, and you would buy the cereal and that sort of stuff, and you buy like the MacArthur's milk that we were used to getting here, right? And you would go and you push your cart in Publix or something like that, and you would see the MacArthur's that is there. Now, you're used to picking up what you pick up, and then you would see the Publix brand. The Publix brand was always cheaper. The MacArthur's was always a little bit more expensive, even though over there it was cheaper than what we pay for it here. Set that aside. What I'm saying is there was always a difference for 2 price points in that shopping. The example that I'm giving you with the laundry detergent that I witnessed today is that, yeah, the Publix brand, for example, is the same price as the MacArthur's. So it doesn't matter whether or not you pick up one that is more watered down because it's a lesser quality of a product, but still good enough. And then the one that you can stretch a little bit more, pay a little bit more, but give you more value for money. They're pretty much carrying the same price. This is by no means beating up on our operators, but other people are seeing it. And if you're actually going to be shopping this weekend, and I'm seeing what those young couples are saying, I'm seeing what that single parent is saying, it's like feeling like doing a math exam. And you're trying to say, well, where's the cheaper items that still allows me to do my laundry, may not be getting that whatever fresh smell, that downy smell, but it's just as good. And I can save at least a difference of $3 to $5. There is very little difference right now in those with a different label when it comes to the price tag. And that hit me today when I was purchasing, because I have to be careful. I have some allergies and there's just certain things I'm very sensitive to. So there is certain products I can only use because of my allergies. And I expected to spend, let's say, $200 on what I went to pick up. I didn't even pick up what, us women, when we see something that we didn't go for, whatever, your girl stuck to her list. I did my best to stick to my list. Well, $355 later. And I got the comment because I was like, what the heck? And I looked and I looked and I looked. And I'm like, okay, you do it. You got to do what you got to do. And when the lady attending to me said, Miss, and you don't even have no food. Yeah, that's the realities. So it's hitting all of us. And even though things and times have changed, how do you navigate that? Well, guess what? You adjust your sales accordingly. You adjust your sales accordingly. Now you look back. Do I go back instead of buying in bulk and go to pick up and itemize single things? Penny wise, pound foolish. I don't know how to do it, but I know one thing for sure. Sabrina has to go back to the drawing board and look at it, because these are items that we're needing. And many of you are just going, picking up, and you're not really looking at what's happening. I even met somebody else and says, but even if you go to this supermarket because it's cheaper here, and you go to that other one to get something that you see at this location because you can save a few dollars, the money that you are spending on gas to commute to a different location, it balances out at the end of the day. Well, yes, that is a reality. But if it's closer to home or on the way home and you got to pass it, that may actually work out for some. That may actually be beneficial for some. So this is something that you're looking at when you compare your communities, the economical side, and how things here is changing. We have identified that as a small island development state, everything is imported, including inflation. We're seeing that more and more every day. And at the end of the day, the only thing that came to my mind of me going to the supermarket with coming out with two things, I looked at it and to help my price, at the receipt, I thought it was somebody's phone number, but that's the bill that I had to pay. And you can't even budget hardly anymore nowadays of going to the supermarket in a sense where you have a number in your head, because all of the items that you're picking up are things obviously that you need. And every day it's like the prices are changing. But this is something that we are looking into every day. People are paying attention, but people can't understand it. And we talk about this GDP, we talk about the inflation, but things and times are changing amongst us daily, every second. And business owners, business owners are having to do whatever it is. You see those prices that are happening with propane, with gas in our other countries, our brothers and sisters. Yeah. Can you imagine what it is shopping in their supermarkets? Because at the end of the day, that's only for gas. I'm quite sure they're no different when it comes to the supermarket. Connie is weighing in saying, I stopped shopping. How do you maintain? You just go and you top up? More and more, it's looking like that. But for those who have younger children that has to do this pretty much on a weekly basis, my heart goes out to you all. And it is almost like you want to sit down and you want to show it is the right thing to do, to show your children the realities of this, even if they can't conceptualize or even understand what you're talking about. Wastage, mixing cereal 3-4 times a day and not finishing it, throwing away or putting it down. Or there's just certain things that I think we have to do in order to navigate how we're going to survive this. Because let me tell you something, it is rough. It is rough. But that's the economical side of things. And we're hoping that as we continue to see what's happening geopolitically, understanding both sides as the consumer, as the business operator, looking at what's happening around the world, you either do without, cut back. But even when you try to cut back or even go to a cheaper brand, it's the same price. How do you get around that? It's just blowing my mind. And that is where I think we're having a bigger problem, because you don't want the assumption to come now that you're buying, example, the Procter and Gamble brand, which is the higher end brand, and then you buy the lower end brand and you're getting it for far less. But because it's supply and demand in small island states, that you're jacking it up for the same price as the Procter and Gamble. Do you know what kind of profit you're making on the cheaper brand? But it's not being felt at the till. It's not being felt. You do the math. Something is just not adding up. And it is beginning to frustrate a lot of people, because they're trying, they're doing it. And I saw it today for myself, where I compared the lower end, a weaker brand, to my top end brand. And I had to look to see if the labels were labeled correctly. And the right name, the SKU number, were all aligning with the lower end brand. And then the SKU number and the label for the uppity up brand was correct. And I'm like, it's the same bloody price. And I know one particular product must be way cheaper than the higher end brand. So why am I not seeing that? I don't know. I'm not in the business, but it's not making sense. It's not making sense. And other people are seeing it. And that in itself is causing its own problem. But if you think that's all, our culture now, because even that I identified today. And it's not that I'm nitpicking, but it aligns quite well with the discussion that we're sharing and we're having here today. And exactly, the Cayman we're becoming. Is this a norm? Is this what we're going to have to get used to? You tell me. I'd like your feedback. Connie is saying, my husband cooks, so he goes shopping. I do the farmer's market part and the cleaning supplies. Well, Connie, that was why I went for today. Cleaning supplies and paper towels. And I tell you, the lady said, Miss Sabrina, you not got nothing to eat. Yeah, that was just cleaning supplies. Barbara G said, find a friend or two and share buying wholesale by the case. Even meats can be shared if you buy a scale. It's true. And I'm seeing more people. But guess what? I know a few friends who are actually doing this, Miss Barbara, and they are actually going away and doing pallets. They're bringing in their own pallets and they share the cost. They share the cost. I know quite a few who are doing that. And you may say, well, Christ, the freight and the duty, not when you do exactly as you've described. It's not that much. Now, if that's what it's going to revert to, then how are we going to say that we're keeping the money locally? I have just pointed out something that I know, for example, a particular brand is far cheaper than another brand. By far. Why are we paying the same price? Now, I could probably go for a trip. Yes, may need it, the vacation anyhow, but I have the money set aside. And it is still far cheaper to come together with 2-3 friends. Not everybody has to travel. Everybody go one big shopping list and you consolidate that and you bring that and you're good for what? 6 months, 8 months. Good for 6 to 8 months. Do you know what that's doing to our local market? There's no need for you to then spend local. Something has to be looked at. And I didn't expect to spend this length of time on this particular topic, but at the end of the day, it's real. It is real. And I know you have to survive. Even when you look then at the individual grocery stores instead of going to the big block stores and saying, okay, let me pick up one, let's say a bottle of ketchup or one bottle of sweet chili sauce, for example. The smaller bottle of the sweet chili sauce was almost $7. And in the big block stores where you used to get them wrapped double, you get the bigger one for $5. Now I'm like, okay, why am I paying less for the bigger bottle, even though it's individual? And the smaller bottle in the retail, not the block store, is almost $3 more. It's not making sense. But the person who's just able to buy that per week, not pretty much writing it off that it's no sense of them going buying in bulk, they would not realize that they could get a bottle and maybe a half of the same product for almost $2.50, $2.30 less in the big block stores. And that was only one particular item because I remembered going in and just wanting to pick up one item. And I'm saying, okay, let me pick this up. And when I looked at the size of the bottle, I'm like, $7. So, of course, today I went to the bulk and looked for the same sweet chili sauce. Even though it wasn't double packed, it was still far cheaper buying it single for $5 and change, something like that, versus paying $7 and change for a smaller bottle in the retail store. And this is somebody, I like Siobhan now, I am getting to the point where I have to look at it because, again, make it make sense. But everybody has to survive. But at whose expense? Whose expense? Annie is weighing in. Good to have you here with us this evening, Anne. Yes. Can you imagine what people with 3 and 4 kids are going through? I can only imagine, Anne. I can only imagine. And this is real. Connie is weighing in and says, I always have paper towels and tissues. I just replace one as it is used. That's what we try to do here as well. Like if I know I bust, the big thing, Bangs Mark or whatever the brand is, or the quicker picker upper, that one, whatever it is. If I know I burst one, I try to go and I replace it. Quite similar with the detergent. If I use one, I try to go and replace it. So if there's anything major, any emergencies, I know I always have one that is unopened. I try to do that. But let me tell you something, not everybody can do that. Not everybody can afford to do that, right? Okay, so let me buy a cheaper brand then to do like the rugs, the dog stuff, that sort of stuff. You understand? Darling, it do make a difference. And this is why it is so in my face. I might as well just buy the regular brand. So I don't know what's going on, but we need help. And this is not just because it's impacting me. I have gone exactly where Anne has gone, saying, can you imagine those parents with 3 and 4 children, what they're going through? That's where I'm going. Yeah, with this. Andrew is saying, Sabrina, the best advice or solution I can suggest is get accustomed to cutting down on certain items, eating out, compare brands, meal planning for the week, wholesale shopping with friends, our family, by splitting the bill. Yeah. This is the only solution. And this is why broad brush. I'm only using me as an example. And this is how we learn here. And your feedback is critical because it's not like me nitpicking. It is real. But I don't think people are realizing it. I don't think they're realizing it. Annie's saying, I rarely go to the store anymore. My husband goes, you can't take the pressure or what, Annie? Barbara's saying is that you're keeping it locally if it's in your pocket. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Andrew is saying reality hits home hard. We are feeling the lighter version of things now. God forbid we see a world war or a depression/recession. Let me tell you something. It is something to really look at. And this is why then you see people are getting a little flustered, frustrated. If, let's go far afield. We've set a certain standard of living now. Let's say our population drops, be it by design or otherwise. How we go cope? Economies of scale. But let's say it drops. You don't have the numbers anymore servicing a lot of the supermarkets. It's just not there. How we go cope? That's the spin-off side of things. I see Miss Marla Dukaran, and I shared it on my page today. There's a survey that's going around. Miss Marla, she's an economist, and very interesting. I took the survey. I shared it. I shared her post. I would encourage you all to go on the Sabrina Turner community activist and just go ahead. Let's give honest, true feedback of Miss Marla Dukaran's survey. It literally takes 2 minutes. Give a survey of what you think and where our trajectory is. That's what she specializes in. She will process the responses. Hopefully people will be honest and truthful. And hopefully there will be all persons answering that will be local, so that the local data would show a true reflection as to what people are going through here. But one of the things that she was saying, and I'm paraphrasing because I'm not an economist, is just what I understood from what she's saying, which is why it's critical that we answer these questions. We have a decision to make. Where do we want to go as a country? Do we want to stop the population now? It's forecasted maybe right now, the local population, we don't know what it is, but we're closing to like 94,000. What do we want it to be? You think if we freeze now, however you're going to do that, don't build it anymore, whatever the latest numbers are, do you think that that would be better or worse? Understanding you have economists doing the forecasting, you have plans on the way in planning, development, whether it's for the locals or not, or mixed. How do you think that would impact the forecasting looking for the future? How do you think any expansion, let's say within the same supermarket chains that we're talking about, that they may see being forecasted for the future, if nationally you all or us as one unified voice say, stop and stop now. Get rid of those who are just wandering around on work permits that are valid but have no work to do, and it's causing its own imbalance in the cost of labor, the quality of work, and people are just here living way below how they would live in their own country, and it's just bringing down our standards and quality of life. If we were to do that knee-jerking move, do you think the results would be cheaper living here to maintain the standards that we're accustomed to? Or would it even go up more because the demand is not there? Remember, anyone in big businesses, just like our utilities, just like our big supermarkets, just like all sector of business, they forecast, they look at trends, they look at, yes, the economics and statistics data. They are actually waiting right now to possibly see what our population is like, because you got to beef it up and look for size, scale. How are we going to cater? Because again, we're a service-based economy. But if we say, look, stop, halt on all work permits, remember, data shows 97% of all applications right now being posted on WORC's website is coming from the private sector. If we say stop right now, what's going to happen? All of those persons are shopping in our supermarkets. I saw a lady the other day on Saturday. She was looking at the lady checking out, I think it was apples. Yeah, some apples. She had the apples individually. She did not pick up a bag, but there was about 5. And she deliberately held them on the side, Caucasian for the record. I don't know what her immigration status is, but I have to give you context to make it make sense. And when the lady started, of course, to check these apples out, there were apples individually, she made the decision. She says, no, this is too expensive. Take out 2. I'll just go with 2. Yeah. Now, let's say it gets to the point where it's just too expensive. That's just one. Where are we going? Where are we going to go? That's the bigger question. Where are we going to go? We still have to be here. So we're saying to all of these businesses then possibly to scale back on your forecasting, because right now the talk is we're just growing too far. We're going too fast. We're not, it's just not working out. We have too much. We cannot keep up with the infrastructure. We're looking at the strain on our infrastructure, our medical care facilities, the cost, and all of this sort of stuff. People are deciding to leave. There is a shortage, and even people getting to do odds and ends jobs around your house because the labor is just being sucked out. All of these things will impact the prices that we're seeing in the supermarkets. And with that, it's the scale of balancing the preservation of our Caymanian heritage and culture. I keep saying it here. We're at a crossroads right now in the Cayman Islands. We are. And we have to decide what we want, where we're going to go, but we got to make a decision. It can't be knee-jerking. We have to do that with dignity and welcome all sides to the table and just be respectful of each other's feedback. Yeah, we have to get to that point where we look and call it for what it is. As we see the demand for labor to come in to fill a lot of these positions, the 97% of those positions that are on the WORC post, we see pages on top, pages of classified ads in printed media. Yeah. Everyone that is approved is impacting our Caymanian culture. From the food, to the habits, to the manners, to the values, even to the way we treat each other is going to be and is in many cases being impacted right now. And we have a job to do, because I'm quite sure the Ministry of Culture, Youth, Sports, Culture, and Heritage, they're trying their best. Mhm. One older person says, and I saw them as well yesterday, as a matter of fact. I was speaking to a senior person, and they says, you know what we're losing? Our Caymanian manners. And they're like, yeah, no manners. I don't understand it. You come to these places, these events, and you see the younger person. I'm all for making sure that our young people are trained and making sure that you pass the baton on. But they don't have no manners. They don't understand protocol. They don't understand the very basic fabric of Cayman kindness. Like saying good morning, excuse me. Certain things should come in so easy. Yeah. And that is what has been known for us, or of Caymanian people. Cayman kindness is something we can't lose. And some of you will say, well, try hush, because that has been our own demise. We're too blooming nice. Oh, try hush. You're just trying to make content. Say what you want. When you buck up into a true Caymanian, that is something that is buried deep within our soul, and we cannot help it. Even when we're preserving our food, you're seeing the competition now with even cassava cake. How those classes and courses have been sold out to make sure that we're doing everything when it comes to our heavy cakes and our desserts, that we make it uniquely Cayman, because I tell you what, eventually it will be replaced. And we don't want anybody rewriting our culture, our heritage, our food, that sort of stuff. Because Caymanian food tells our story. You don't want a turtle meat to be watered down. You don't want our cassava cake to look like cornmeal in color, or a custard, because that's not our heavy cake stretcher. Yes, these are all things that is worth fighting for, that is worth preserving. And it is the Cayman that we're becoming, but we can't just all fold our hands and see it go by the wayside. No. We can't do that. Cindy Lee Reynolds, good evening to you. It's so good to have you commenting on the platform. And Annie is responding. Aliano is saying, my lady, it doesn't cost $1 million to file paperwork. Now do it call for someone to have call for someone to have 5 degrees to sit in a chair of government isn't a company. So let's reevaluate before it's too late to correct. I get what you're saying. And this is why, Aliano, it is so important for us to have these conversations. As uncomfortable as some of the commentary may sound, and this is why I remain unbiased. And I just bring it up to bring your attention to the realities. And the more people of civil society becomes checked in of the realities of what's happening, pay more attention that you're paying the same price for the expensive brand, and you look at little things like that. These are some of the realities that you speak to your elected leaders. Who is really looking at the consumer? And this is not trying to be dictatorship to tell them what to sell their stuff at. But at the end of the day, the Consumer Protection Act is another thing that came to mind and would come into place. Better Business Bureau. Do we have that? What is that? Does that exist? It's not to tell people what to do, but when you can blatantly look and see unfairness, who do you go to? Who do you report that to? Because I observe it. Other people are observing it, but you're like, well, if you want it, you buy it. And if you don't want it, you put it down and shut your mouth. But is it fair? Is it right? Or you just take it? Is it right is the question. Good evening, caller. I hope my listeners can hear you. You're live.
Good evening, Mr. Sabrina and Cayman. I trust you're well and Cayman is doing well today.
I'm
Um,
thankful.
yes, so am I. The topic of who we are and what we are becoming. Um, I think that says it all. I don't think I need to say anything more, but I will say this. What we are becoming is a place that doesn't feel like home any longer. And I keep saying this as we walk about Cayman and as we look about and we see the changes that are taking place daily. Construction is at a pace that I don't know. I keep asking, who are we building for? I guess we're building because this is the place to be right now. People are coming here in groves, and everyone wants to come to Cayman. And as the Arab countries are the meccas of the Middle East, I think the Cayman Islands is the mecca of the Caribbean. But I don't think we as Caymanians speak up loud enough sometimes. I think we allow too much to carry on for far too long, to where it festers, to where we get to a point where we're not breaking, we are over breaking. This island here is on a strain. We don't have the infrastructure, and to try to catch up, it's going to take some time. But we keep kicking cans down the road, and the cans that we keep kicking down the road is that we cannot continue to grow Cayman in the current state and form that it is, that the trajectory that certain people want the Cayman Islands to go on. And I keep saying this, at the end of the table, they are the Caymanians, and at the end of the table, there are others that come here. And if Caymanians can't make it in their own country, we have nowhere to go. If I could be real here this evening because I'm a real person. I look around and I see things happening in the neighborhood I live in, and I do not like it. I never imagined I would see where I would walk out of where I am and turn 2 doors down and there's a mega apartment complex. On the other side, there's a mega apartment complex on the beach side. Down the road, there's a mega 3-story, 4-story condo buildings on the seaside. And you walk down the whole coast of Northwest Point Road, and the changes, Miss Sabrina, are shocking. If you do not go on the water, if you do not go to walk on the iron shore, if you're not a fisherman that goes out on a boat, you won't see what the iron shore or the coastline looks of this island. West Bay is a changed place on the ocean side and inward, inland as we call it. We cannot sustain the level that we are at for far too much longer. I'm sorry. We are bursting at the seams. And if people don't have the reality check that needs to hit all of us here today, the reality check is we already know we're outnumbered. But the reality check is, like one of your viewers said there's a type of message. What happens if a world war breaks out?
Or a recession.
What happens if a recession happens? And I keep pushing this can up the road and not down the road. If a world financial crisis was to take place and the world financial markets, all their stock markets throughout the big G7 countries, they all crash, and in the G20, all stock markets crash around the world. Where in the heck do you think we're going to be? Everything is tied to the almighty US dollar. You don't think it's going to affect us here? I keep saying this to Caymanians. We have been told, and we keep getting to be told, and I keep saying this, we are one disaster, whether it is man-made or whether it is environmentally caused. We are one disaster away from bankruptcy. And the UK has its own set of issues like the rest of the world has. So who you think will come bail Cayman out? Cayman is going to have to be on a good standing if we ever have to go and beg money from the World Bank or the likes of the International Monetary Fund. Yes, the UK might be there to back us up as a backup plan in case the country defaults. But we import everything here. You know the mess we would be in if we go into a world financial crisis and people start pulling their money out of here? What's going to run this country? It's a scary idea to think that it could take one little simple storm to hit these islands to cause us to go back to reality check. And like I give the reality check is, I'm a person, I shop around because I live on a budget.
Mm-hmm.
And the things that I use, my rice, my pastas, my peanut butter, I don't buy from the regular grocery stores. You have to learn how to shop. You buy it in bulk. You don't go to the supermarket and buy a pack of chips that is $4, almost $5, that is just 4.5 ounces. When you can get the same big bag of chips that is $20 at the wholesale place, and it is $10. You see the math? You're getting 4 packs of chips for $10 versus 1 pack for $5. You buy in bulk. If like you have allergies, you can't eat everything. I have osteoarthritis. Inflammation is the word. I don't eat the normal foods people eat. I eat it, but I'm sorry, it has to be organic because I have no choice. It's either that or I live with the inflammation that creates havoc in my body all day, and my life is not functionable possible. But we have to conserve, and as Caymanians, we have gotten behind this proverbial thing that everything new that comes out, we have to have. Every new smartphone that comes out, we have to have. Save your smartphone for four years. Save it for the 6 years. Most of the companies are doing updates, security updates for 7 years. Their interface update when Google rolls it out. Samsung is doing it for 7 years. You know, keep your phone. It's an expense. If it's working, buy a decent case. Let it go to the term that it's supposed to go to.
It's funny that you use the term 6 years, because I think my phone that I have been using is 6 years old, and there's one that's 9.
Yeah, mine's coming up on 4, and it's not one of those that has the 7 years. So I'm due for a new one. But
and I don't cut my finger on it either, because when I changed the case the other day, and when I went into the store, the young man said, "But miss, this phone look new." I said, "Yeah." And I said, "Don't even think about it." No, I said, "She good. I've learned all of how to use her." And he's like, he just cracked up. He was just laughing at me. So I said, "What are you trying to tell me? I'm a dinosaur?" No, miss, but you know how much updates we have done. I said, "I don't need it. She working. Just give me the case." Like, he was laughing, but he was just shocked at how well the phone was kept and not realizing it's 6 years old.
Yes, ma. You know, my computer lasted 7 years because we need to learn to take care of what we have. I saw one of your viewers there holler and say her husband does the shopping.
Yeah.
She don't do it anymore, and it's tissue, toilet. I mean,
yeah, the cleaning supplies and
tissue and the cleaning supplies. Tissue is a waste of. I'm sorry, people have allergies and they need it, but you buy your tissue if you need it. Paper towels I don't buy. I use hand towels in my kitchen. It cuts down on buying paper towel. I don't need the paper towel.
Well, I think today I saw a price tag of almost $35, and I was like, huh?
Yeah, and for what? We are carrying home
$35.
Yeah, we are carrying home pulp from trees to make paper. We have to use toilet paper. So yeah, I bought a thing of 45 rolls of toilet paper about 2 weeks ago from Price Right West Big. It was $40. But let's do the math here. And you want to hear the math? A 4-pack of that same Scotch toilet tissue at Foster's, and some is even more. It's about almost $8.10 for 4 packs.
You see?
Okay, for a 4-pack, you get 45 rolls, price right, for $40.
You see?
This is how you do the math and see what it costing you. Hey man, wake up. You take the $40, you divide it by your 45. You got 0.88888 cents for a roll. Let's zoom by. So we're not kicking the can down the road, we're kicking it up the road to educate you today. That 4-pack of same Scotch tissue that you just buy out of Foster's or Kirk's or Hurley's, Foster's is almost $8. Just zoom down that road, do that math, divide it by 4. That's $2 a roll. When you can go and buy 45 for 88 cents a roll for $40. That's the savings there on all of that. So it's $1 and what? 25 cents or $1.18 savings on every roll that you have now bought. But we seem to think that just because the supermarket has it, we must get it. Just because something new comes out, we have to get it. If it's working and it's not broken,
don't fix it.
Or it might be broken a little, but it works.
Yeah.
Don't touch it. Leave it and let it wear out.
Well, it's funny that you brought that example in regards to the 4-pack versus the 48, because what I'm seeing now, it's still working with that example. But what I saw today in the big block store is this, and maybe you can look at it the next time you go. Look at the price of the Tide and the Geen, and look at the price of the cheaper brand detergent. They're carrying the same price. There is there's no difference.
You're trying to figure it out, right?
That was what sparked the conversation. And there were
were
other people in the supermarket that recognized it as well.
I will answer that question. There is the name brand, the Tide. I wouldn't touch those detergent with the bike. I look at them and I laugh, because if I turn them around and start reading the ingredients,
you can't pronounce it.
Oh no. I don't want anything with sodium sulfate in it that's going to scrub my skin and get into my pores and cause all kind of stuff. I don't touch none of those detergents. But why they're selling? Because if you see the Tide is, let's just say, $10 for the medium-sized little one, and they see it flying off the shelves, Miss Sabrina, and then you got something from the off-brand to the everyday essential washing detergent, and that used to be $2 less, but because that is outselling the Tide or the Geen, we're going to put it up to that price, because that one is becoming more popular than what we have here, which is the name brand. And that's what's happening. It is supply and demand. That's the only reason I can say it. It's not because Foster's chooses to put it up, because Foster's, of all the supermarkets, tries to keep, I know, their prices low. They tell us that. That could be the only reason. Supply and demand. And if there's more demand for the off-brand, then the off-brand probably would get 3 lines of detergent versus the Geen, the 2 lines. But you can refill the Geen more, and you will refill the off-brand even more. You see? But buying in bulk is the perfect thing. I can't use all of that stuff because I don't agree with the chemicals enough. I've found recently at Foster's, and it is expensive, but it works. And the first time I used it, I was shocked. I waited till the machine was finished and I smelled the clothes. And I was like, this just smells like, it don't smell like, it has no detergent smell to it. It's like no detergent smell at all. It is a natural smell, and it reminds me of checking into a hotel and going into the bathroom and pulling one of their towels and smelling it.
Fresh.
It's like it's clean. It's called Molly Suds, and it's just one little cup, and it's just white powder. It smells of a peppermint, and you put it into the washer, and you put your clothes in. and the clothes come out smelling clean.
Okay. I know some
And
people
then,
who, because of issues, and exactly as you're describing with the type of ingredients that are in some of them, they have, but this is those who can afford it, have invested
yeah,
in a high pressure with a hot water. And instead of
mm-hmm,
using all of those heavy detergents, they
mm-hmm,
just double the heat of their washing and
mm-hmm,
predominantly use like really extreme hot water on their clothes that breaks down the
yeah,
oils and the dirt and all that sort of stuff,
mm-hmm,
to the point where they don't necessarily need the fabric softener, because that in itself causes a buildup as well. And it's working for
yeah,
them. But what I'm saying,
yeah,
it's just like the upfront cost, for example, going into the solar panels, that sort of stuff, it payoffs at the
yeah.
end of the day.
It's a
To each
cost.
his own, there's a cost that's associated with it. And of course, propane is always better, because can you imagine if you were using an electrical water heater,
Thank,
how much that
thank
would throw
you.
up your
Mm-hmm.
utility
Your
bill.
bill.
But when you look at those things, people have to make these decisions. But
Mm-hmm.
like you say, the supply and demand. But then let's flip it around with
Oh,
the cry that I'm hearing in more and more talking, saying we need to stop the growth. A lot of these people just really do an audit, see really who is here on work permits that genuinely
yes,
do not have no
ma'am.
work, and let them go.
Thank
What
you.
would be the flip side of doing that type of amnesty, doing that type of cleanup, when you have your favorite line of supermarkets that have done a forecasting saying that we're headed to 98,000, we're heading to 100,000 population. But
Mm-hmm.
then, hold on, if we do an audit and let's say 30, 50,000 people then just leaves by design or otherwise, do you not think that would make the cost of buying things even much more expensive? Because the demand is not there.
Yeah. It most likely would.
But you see where I'm going with that narrative.
Yeah,
So
I understand it.
we got to be careful.
Yeah, it's a balance, and it's a very delicate balance because of where we are
Now,
in the circle
right
that
now,
we have to deal with. Because, like we say, everything has been kicked down the road, and I think Ms. Sandra said it very well this morning, and others are saying it too. I think the majority of Caymanians, and I know I speak to the government directly and to the ministers when I say what I have to say, but I think I'm going to put this out there. I think the majority of Caymanians that voted and those that did not vote wanted some sort of change to happen. And I do believe the figures are there to say that people are genuinely, I think, happy or on a trajectory of being happy of what they see being done, even though things are not happening right away. Because everything can't happen right away.
but even if it's happening, you're not going to see the impacts immediately either. Some of the impacts will not be felt for sometimes a year or 2 years. We heard what the 2003 mass status grants have. We're still in many cases now, it's still feeling the impacts of that. Some it'll take decades before you really see the impacts. Some you will never recover from. And
no, we won't.
So even though right now you may be happy with a lot of the changes that are happening, the impacts of them, if any, will not necessarily be felt immediately.
True.
Because
understandable.
Remember, economics and statistics and data, even when those information is collected and scrubbed and put into giving you the results that you're looking for, you're always getting them not in real time. You're getting that information after the fact, or exactly, which you will never, based on the ESO data, get stuff that's happening in real time. And I encourage people about the population growth. I don't know if you missed this. Live Happy said that they confirmed that they filled out the Marla Dukaran survey on population control. And I shared it as well on the Sabrina Turner Community Activist page. It's a very easy thing. And that talks about, caller, you might be interested in this. It talks about what do you want to see? What numbers are you looking for? So The data she's
balance.
asking for, the data that she's asking for is
It's
trying to
relevant.
capture and get a sense, a feel for what
Of
the
what
Caymanian people want. So I
the want.
encourage people, yes, I encourage
Yeah.
people to go on and do that survey. And let's hope that you get a true evidence, some
Picture
semblance, yeah, a
of what
picture
the
of
picture
really
is.
what, because you're speaking about you want it slow down. You may have some
Mhm.
people in business that's their lifeline, that's creating jobs for people and
Yeah.
saying, look, if this goes
Understand.
to a halt, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to lay you off. Then what happens to
Mhm.
those Caymanians that loses their jobs? It's a
Mhm.
balancing
It
act. So it all
it
depends on
is.
who you speak to. And then it comes with respect and dignity, because there will be some positions that you don't have sufficient locals in order to fill them, or the requisite
Mhm.
skill sets, expertise, and stuff to keep these companies running. And at the end of the day, there's
Mhm.
a trickle down effect. So I would encourage, and this is by no means being pushed by Ms. Marta Dukaran, by all means, this is unsolicited, but I just stumbled across it. And I think
Mhm.
it was Unsustainable Cayman. And then I looked deeper into it. And either they're Sustainable Cayman, you go on Marla's page, whatever, do it. I don't care.
Mhm.
Just do the survey. Just do the
Yeah.
survey.
Yeah.
But
Just do
I
it and
shared it on my
give the
platform as
information.
well. Yeah, that's the
So that's
key.
wonderful.
So I'll be
But
looking
it's
for those
just,
results in the coming months for sure from
yeah,
her.
we, you know, we are at a point where we really need to stop destroying the iron shore. It is sad to look at, to see what has been done throughout this island. And I keep saying, who are we building for? There's no Caymanian that's coming out of school, that's going into work within 3 years' time, can go and buy a $649,000 2 or 3 bedroom condo. That's unrealistic. That's a goal that's not reachable right now. And when you look at what the generations that are here that are coming up after us, because we're all aging and we all have to leave this earth at some point. And to try to leave Cayman in a little better place than it was when we came and found it,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's up to all of us that live here, Caymanians and foreigners, because we got to stop destroying our environment. We got to stop building. We can build all the roads we want. But if we still continue the amount of cars going on it daily, every day I see a new license plate. What the heck are we doing with license plate 243? Every day a bank is giving someone a vehicle loan because people want to drive. And we have to get to a point where we take all of these old, dilapidated pieces of junk, cars and vehicles off of the road. They are causing too much pollution.
Well, I'll tell you something. It's funny you said that. And I just stick up in here. There was one truck driving beside me heading into town
Yes, ma'am.
today. And there is no way in this God's world that anyone could tell me that that truck passed inspection. The bed was tilted. There was a black garbage bag covering one of the, if it's not the back glass, it was one of the other glass. It was, what you call it, crab walking. Obviously, there had been hit before, but there is no way. One of the windshield wipers too, I think they didn't have no windshield wiper.
Yeah,
And
I
saw, and I'm like, there is no way that could have passed inspection. And the black smoke that was coming out, as you described, I'm like,
pollution.
OMG,
Pollution. And what you're saying is so hot. And I just read an article, El Nino is only going to get hotter.
Yeah.
It's just getting hotter. So I'm going to leave this out there because we all have to conserve. And if you don't need to burn your air conditioner in the day, do not burn it. If you can do without it, yes, it's hot. And yes, the heat coming out the windows are hot too. But if you have it on at night and you got split unit, most split units have a timer. Put it on a timer to cool your place down. And when morning comes, it cuts off and the cool air stays in. You keep your windows down to keep the heat in, the cooling. I know some people don't do that.
Can we like
But
open up our windows and then we just letting all of
yeah,
that
and
heat
I
in?
like my
Yeah.
windows open too.
Yeah.
I
But at
keep
least
mine in
pulling
my
the curtains
bedroom
crossed.
down,
Yeah.
but yeah, and the blinds locked. But it's so hot, and then if your houses are not properly insulated,
Insulated.
oh Lord! And just the scenario, if you have a zinc roof and it's not insulated, well then you
Oh,
are doomed
wow.
this summer.
Yeah.
And I feel sorry for those people. But we have to do a better job as all persons living here to do our part to consume less. Not because it's in the supermarket, you buy it. You buy what you need. And I shop weekly. What I buy in bulk is for the month.
Mm-hmm.
I love peanut butter, but it's healthy peanut butter. It's not jiffy. It's not this either pan that has soybean oil or that has canola oil. Those are inflammatory oils. Cost you less. If anyone loves peanut butter, and I am the biggest peanut head and peanut butter fan in the world, because I do a protein shake a day with 2 tablespoons.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, cost you less has a big old jar of organic Smucker's peanut butter. I think it's about $10. Boy, is that delicious. That's how you buy in bulk if you're going to use it for the whole week. Versus going Foster's and getting the little small jar or Kirk for $8. That don't make sense.
But right now, some
Yeah?
people can know better do. I'm telling you
I
that,
know
caller. They
we
can
can't
know better
afford it.
do. They can know better do.
Yes, I know. And I don't think this fuel surcharge is going to have any much of an impact on people because as we see, the electric company CUC has to upgrade its system. And like a caller said this morning, we can fuss and we can row and we can fight and we can carry on about CUC all we want.
They have a contract.
But
We said it here.
if
Sandra
they
repeated it
have a
this morning.
contract,
Exactly.
and they could do better with some things, but they have done a lot of things better over the years.
Exactly.
And I keep going back to the memory I have, and I'm going to leave it here after this. When I came home from my trip from the States after Ivan had hit Cayman. Cayman was a change place, and I was ready to see how it looked because I knew how it looked. But the respect that I still have for the men and women of CUC, I remember the residents stopping and giving their workers water. Some brought them food daily. That's the memory of Cayman kind that I remember.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't us that created this Cayman kind. And I'm just going to say that it wasn't us that created Cayman style fish because my mama and my dad never cooked no Cayman style fish with no tomatoes. It had it in it, but we're brown soup. So I don't know where that came. But the respect I still have for the management and the staff of CC goes far beyond anything that I would imagine I still would have had today. But when I see a CEC worker, I smile because I remember the evening electricity came to my road and my neighborhood.
After Ivan. Mm-hmm.
And that was the time when I could say to a friend of mine, here you go. You can have the generator now.
Aww.
I leave you there, Mr. Sabrina.
Thank you so much.
Another day.
That's right. Free Flow Friday.
We need to voice our opinions now about development because we have to have a balanced plan. And I urge every Caymanian to go out and do your part to make Cayman a little bit better. And do your shopping in bulk and try to minimize your electricity where you can. Stop opening your fridge doors all the time. Stop opening your doors all the time if you keep your air conditioning unit on in the day. And drink lots of water because it is hot. Hydrate yourself, not with soda, but with natural water. And just stay safe. And please be careful on these roads because speed and alcohol do not mix, and the life you save might be your very own, or one of your children, or one of your family members or friends in your cars. So remember, everybody in a vehicle is a human being and a friend of someone, and a friend lost to drunk driving is a person lost forever
Okay, thank
that
you.
did not have to lose their life. Thank you,
Leave
Mr.
us
Payne,
there.
and God
Take care.
willing, tomorrow,
Yes.
you have a good one.
Thank
And
you.
God bless.
Likewise.
Thank you.
There
And
we
goodbye.
go. Goodbye. We want to thank that caller for his usual contribution to the show. Let's get, and we wrap up with these comments that came in while he was live. Andrew is saying strategic planning and control is critical. More business development and construction means more revenue within the economy, employment for Caymanians, people, and permit holders. Aliano weighs in, if the economy doesn't balance out the flow of capital like cash or skills can and create more, it's local to be prosperous. It's local to be prosperous. Andrew also is weighing in and further comment, another comment here. It says, we have every food franchise from the United States, Wendy's, Burger King, Pizza Hut, Domino's, Popeyes, and out of Canada, Tim Hortons. Do tourists come here to our islands to eat those foods from where they are trying to get away and have some island experience? Great question. Many times they don't want to. They want to see what's authentically island and Cayman. Live Happy N4J is weighing in and saying Cayman kindness should not just come from Caymanians. It should come from foreigners too, but it does not. We are draining ourselves of kindness and getting nothing in return. Live Happy further says that I post that up. They filled out the Marla Dukaran survey on population control. And if you're part of the CMR WhatsApp channel, you will see where it's posted there. So even if it's afterwards, you can go on and do it. Ms. Barbara G is also commenting saying, what I don't understand is why groceries are so expensive as companies are buying in bulk. There are thousands more people living here now than fewer years ago. Maybe they need to do better bulk buying and have sales on almost expired items. I'm sure there is a lot of food just dumped and written off. We in turn are paying for those waste as the new batch is of course higher priced. Aliano is commenting and saying technology isn't what is bought, it's brand recognition. It's status points, still using my Samsung. That's when we were talking about the phone. And Annie was weighing in that her husband does that. And Andrew is saying, have a 3-month amnesty for illegal. If we lose 3,000 to 4,000 people leave, yes, it will have some impacts on the economy. However, we have 3,000 young children just left school. Most of the people who will leave are those entry-level jobs that cannot afford to be here anyway. Balance the scale. It isn't easy. It isn't an easy choice, but something has to be done. And I don't think anybody can disagree with you there, Andrew. Live Happy N4J. I slightly disagree if those people leave. Just like how the supermarket adjusted for that population increase, then the supermarkets can also readjust. It's in management accounting. And Live Happy also said, we should not have people living here like sardines. It's not fair to us, and it's not clear. It's not clear to them. I'm thinking you mean fair to them. These new hotels should house their workers. Andrew's commenting, as fuel prices rise, so does the prices of goods and food. The cost of trucking, labor, etc. are adding up. As we wind down here with the last two comments, Live Happy saying, are Caymanians the only kind people in the world is a question. Can we get some foreign kind for a change? Just asking for a friend. Oh my goodness. And C.E. Banks is saying amen to that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for all of you who have stayed with me this evening, who are even going to join us after the fact, thank you. Thank you for your continued support. Thank you for your call-in, my caller. Thank you for your support and for your comments, commenting live on whatever platform you're streaming us live from. You are appreciated. You keep us going. You keep us ticking. And one of the questions or comments that last caller, the caller made was, what happens if all of the global markets, and of course, my little AI friend, I just put it in there and I typed it in. God forbid, if the global stock market were to crash, this was the feedback that I got, Cayman would feel the impact quickly. As a major financial hub, the islands could see reduced activities across funds and banking, tighter lending, and slower business growth. Tourism and real estate might also cool as international spending drops. Now, government reserves and strong regulations would help cushion the blow, nevertheless, but residents could still face higher prices and economic uncertainty until global markets recover. Now, that brings me, yes, to the end of today's episode of Sabrina Speaks. I'm wishing you a very pleasant evening. Looking forward to you for Free Flow Fridays tomorrow, where we're easy like Sunday morning. I'll be in a course all morning. So, yeah. I'll probably be on a lighter note tomorrow. I'll share something with you shortly. Yeah, I'll share some news, another little accomplishment of mine. I'm going to keep you up to date with what's going on. So please do have a good evening, good night. Thank you for sticking and staying. Love you lots. And thank you to our frontline men and women in uniform, service officers. We appreciate you. Thank you for your service. Good night. Stay safe. God bless. See you tomorrow.
That's a wrap for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks. Thank you for tuning in and for being part of the conversation. Remember, the dialogue doesn't stop here. Stay engaged, stay informed, and most importantly, stay empowered. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m., same time, same place, right here on CMR TV and radio, where your voice matters and your truth is heard. Until then, Cayman, take care of yourself and each other.
That's it for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks, where your voice matters, your story counts, and your truth is always welcome. Join us weekdays from 5 until 6:30 p.m. right here on CMR TV as we dive into the topics that matter most to you. Catch the show live or on demand at cmrtv.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram so you never miss a moment. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and always speak your truth.